I have done it again, my low-carb friends. I have made a recipe that you are going to say again that I am a low-carb genius. Today, I have a recipe for you for keto ice cream that is, of course, keto-friendly, gluten-free, has dairy-free options, and the most important thing is that it stays scoopable even after being in the freezer overnight. If you've ever tried to make keto ice cream or even have tried to make some of my other keto ice creams, you'll know that after they've been in the freezer overnight, they freeze hard and you have to let it sit out on the counter for at least 15 to 20 minutes for it to thaw enough to be able to scoop it into a cone or into a bowl. But this recipe, you don't have to wait to scoop it out. You bring it out of the freezer and it is scoopable and ready to eat right then and there. Also, make sure you stick around to the end of the video because I am going to give you 3 important tips on how to make sure that your ice cream base always turns out creamy and delicious and scoopable. And if you want printable versions of these, you can check out my website at janetsdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You can find printable versions of these and other goodies there for you. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, right next to the subscribe button, there's a little bell. Make sure you click that bell so you can be notified every time I put out a new video. And while you do that, let's get cooking. Place 1 can of sugar-free condensed milk or homemade keto condensed milk in the refrigerator overnight so it can get a good chill on it. When you're ready to actually make the ice cream, then put your mixer bowl and your whisk attachment to your standing mixer, or if you're using a hand mixer, put the beaters in the freezer for about 15 minutes just so they can get a good chill on them. This just helps the mixture to whip up quicker and not form ice crystals as quick. After your bowl and whisk attachment have a nice chill on them, remove them from the freezer and pour 2 cups of cold, heavy whipping cream into the chilled bowl. Make sure it is heavy whipping cream. You need that extra fat in order to have a creamy texture in your ice cream. Whisk on medium-high for about 2 to 3 minutes or until the cream has become thick and soft. Do not overmix this. You do not want it to become stiff. You just want it nice and soft, just enough to thicken up the cream. Remove your sugar-free condensed milk from the refrigerator and pour 14 ounces or 1 1/4 cup of the chilled sugar-free condensed milk into your thickened cream. Add anywhere from 2 teaspoons to 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract or any other extract of your choice, whatever flavor you want your ice cream to be. Then whisk on high for another 2 to 3 minutes or until the cream begins to thicken and the mixture starts to resemble soft serve ice cream. So when you scoop it with the spoon, it should be able to stay on the spoon without just sliding off. But again, make sure you don't overmix it. You do not want it to become stiff. Make sure that the extracts are alcohol based. You need the alcohol in them to be able to have a creamy texture in your ice cream after it has been frozen. If you don't have any extract or you just don't want to use any type of extract, then you can use vodka or any other flavorless alcohol, but you do have to have some type of alcohol in there. And if you can't find keto condensed milk anywhere, then you can make your own. I'll put a link in the description to my recipes of keto condensed milk. They're very quick, very easy. The one I'm using in this particular recipe is my no-cook keto condensed milk, the easiest thing in the world to make. So if you want to check that out, I'll put the link in the description for you. Once it's done mixing and the mixture is nice and thick and creamy, then your ice cream base is done. It's that easy. If you just want plain vanilla ice cream, just scoop it into an airtight freezer-safe container, place a lid on it, freeze it for at least 6 hours or until it's nice and firm, and it'll keep in your freezer for about 6 weeks. But mine never lasts that long. And for this particular video, I'm actually making vanilla and chocolate ice cream. So I've divided the ice cream base into 2 portions. So I have roughly about 3 cups of the ice cream base for vanilla, and then roughly about 3 cups of the ice cream base to make my chocolate. If you're wanting to make a chocolate base, in a small microwave-safe bowl, place 3/4 cup of Keto chocolate chips and microwave them on high for about 30 seconds or just until they're completely melted. Make sure they are fully 100% melted. You want the chocolate to be nice and smooth. Once it's melted, add it to your base just a few tablespoons at a time until you get the desired chocolate consistency that you want. Some people like more chocolate than others. So if you like more chocolate, add more chocolate. If you just like a light chocolate, then just add a few tablespoons. Just keep adding the chocolate a couple tablespoons at a time. Gently fold it in with a spatula or a wooden spoon until you get that desired chocolate taste that you want. If you don't want to use keto chocolate chips, or you just can't find keto chocolate chips where you live, then you can use cocoa powder and butter. All you would do is you would melt 3 tablespoons of butter in the microwave until it's completely melted, about 30 seconds. Then you would add 5 to 6 tablespoons of cocoa powder and use a fork and stir it together until it's thick and smooth. And if you wanted to, you can add a few more tablespoons of sweetener to it if you think it's not going to be sweet enough. Personally, I think the condensed milk makes it sweet enough, but if you want to make it a little bit sweeter with the cocoa, because cocoa powder can be a little bitter, so you can put a couple tablespoons of sweetener in there if you want to. Then use your fork and mix it all together until it's thick and smooth. Everything needs to be completely smooth. Then you would do the same thing that you would do with the melted chocolate chips. Just add the cocoa powder blend a few tablespoons at a time to your base until you get the desired amount that you want. I will give you a heads up though, if you decide to use the cocoa powder and butter combination rather than the melted chocolate chips, your ice cream will freeze a little bit more solid. It still won't be like a rock, you'll still be able to scoop it, but it will be a little bit more solid if you use the cocoa powder and butter rather than the melted chocolate chips. And if you want a good brand of keto chocolate chips, the Lily's brand is a really good brand, and it's pretty readily available in just about any grocery store. Or you can find it usually in the organic or natural foods aisle. Whichever way you choose to make your chocolate, whether it be with the cocoa powder or the melted chocolate chips, make sure that your chocolate is cooled before you mix it in. You don't want to put heated chocolate into your creamy mixture because that can form ice crystals and that can make your ice cream base freeze solid. So make sure that it is cooled before you put the chocolate into your base. The amount of chocolate chips and the amount of cocoa and butter mixture that I have is only for half of the base, because remember I told you I split this up to be half vanilla and half chocolate. So if you're wanting to make your entire base chocolate, then all you need to do is double the amount of chocolate chips, or if you're doing the cocoa powder and butter, just double the amount of cocoa powder and double the amount of butter if you're wanting the entire base chocolate. Then you would do the same thing as you would with the vanilla. Scoop it into an airtight freezer-safe bowl, put the lid on it, and freeze it for at least 6 hours. Now once you make the base, if you are wanting to add some more add-ins into your base, like maybe you're wanting to add nuts or cookie dough or candy or something like that, if you're wanting to put any extra add-ins in it, then make sure you fold it in gently before you place it into the freezer. And you can put however much of the add-ins you want. I would start out with about a half a cup, fold it in, and if it looks like it's not that much, then you can go up to 1 cup, fold it in and see how it goes, and then go from there until you have the desired amount of the add-ins that you want, if you choose to have the add-ins. If you are going dairy-free, then in my sugar-free condensed milk recipes, I do have dairy-free options, so you don't have to worry about not being able to make this because you can't find dairy-free condensed milk. It's just as easy to make the dairy-free keto condensed milk as it is the traditional keto condensed milk. And there you have it. Keto-friendly ice cream base that will not freeze solid overnight. Now remember, if you want some quick pointers on some important tips that will help you to always have a nice creamy ice cream base, then stick around and I will share with you what I have discovered works best. If you're wanting to make keto no churn ice cream that will be still scoopable after being in the freezer overnight, you need to have 3 essential ingredients. The first one being fat. I know we all think of fat as bad, but there are good fats, and we need the good fats in our ice cream in order for our ice cream to not freeze solid. So if you're making keto no churn ice cream, you need to have a cream that is at least 38% milk. And if you're dairy-free, coconut cream is your best way to go because it has a high quality of good fats. Fat does not freeze solid, so therefore when you use a high amount of fat in your ice cream, it will help the ice crystals to slow down, which helps your ice cream not to freeze solid. The other essential ingredient that you absolutely have to have in your ice cream to keep it scoopable is the right keto sweetener. Now, I have just recently found this out because if you have seen my other ice cream videos, you know that they do freeze solid. And a big portion of that was because of the type of sweetener that I used. Most keto sweeteners, they come from natural sources, and so their molecular structure is a lot different from white sugar or Splenda, and they allow a lot of air into your ice cream, which allows ice crystals to form quickly, which makes your ice cream freeze solid. Allulose does not do that, and this is the only keto sweetener that I know of that does not freeze solid. And if you want to know more about allulose and what exactly it is and why it works this way, just leave me a note in the comments and I'll get out a short video as to what allulose is and why it works this way. The third key ingredient that is another must in your ice cream is alcohol. Now, the amount of alcohol that you put in your ice cream is not enough to make you drunk or even have an effect on your children or anything like that. It's just a little bit. And if you're like me, I don't keep alcoholic drinks in my house, but I do use alcohol-based extracts. And so alcohol is another ingredient that slows down the ice formation, which helps your ice cream to stay soft. One thing you do want to keep in mind, if you do use an alcoholic beverage in your ice cream, make sure it is a flavorless one, like vodka or something like that, because you don't want your ice cream to have the flavor of the alcohol. So you don't want it to taste like butter rum spice or something like that. You know, you want it to have a neutral flavor. But if you're like me and you use the alcohol-based extracts, just use whatever flavor you want your ice cream to be. So if you want your ice cream to be vanilla flavored, use vanilla. If you want your ice cream to be strawberry flavored, use strawberry extract. If you want your ice cream to be orange flavored, use orange extract. Whatever flavor you want your ice cream to be, use that flavor of alcohol-based extract. So those are your 3 essential ingredients that you have to have in your ice cream base in order for it to stay soft and scoopable. You keep those 3 ingredients in and you keep them in the right proportions, then you're pretty much guaranteed to have creamy, delicious keto ice cream that stays scoopable even after it has been in the freezer overnight. So I hope this was helpful to you. I hope you enjoy your next big bowl of keto ice cream. And if you like this video and you want to see more videos like it, then give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment if you want to, let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make, and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.